Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Nafisha Nawal Sammo. Today I'm going to talk about the Asian financial crisis, a complex story of growth and turmoil which began in Thailand in 1997, was a major event that rocked the global economy. Its effects were far-reaching, impacting economies across Asia and beyond. The trouble started in 1996 and continued into 1997 when a small number of investors and currency traders began to have doubts about whether Thailand's economy would be able to continue its record of remarkable growth. The roots of this crisis can be traced to the early 1990s when capital flow inflows to Thailand rose sharply even though its current account deficit was increasing. Its property prices were declining and Thai banks were incurring a sizable foreign currency debt. Fearing a reduction in economic prosperity and profit, some of these investors began to withdraw their money and investments. The outflow of money forced the Thai central bank to devalue its currency, the baht. This began the process that was later called the 1997 Asian financial crisis. After the baht began to depreciate, the currencies of Indonesia, South Korea, Malaysia, and Philippines, and Singapore also came under severe downward pressure. By the time the crisis ran its courses, several Asian countries experienced economic depression and the government of Indonesia was overturned. Countries previously leveled the economic miracles, for example, South Korea, Thailand, Indonesia, were forced to seek loans from the International Monetary Fund and World Bank. At this situation, the viability of the international financial crisis was called into question. The Asian financial crisis happened quickly and with little warning. While the crisis has provoked a large number of studies, there is no consensus on its causes. To understand this complex event, we need to examine both its causes and its consequences through different theoretical perspectives. At first, we will assess it from liberal perspective. The liberal history locates the causes of the crisis primarily in the financial policies followed by Asian states. These views suggest that resources were directed to inefficient uses because of corrupt business practices and political influence over financial institutions. Liberals argued that these states had close government business linkages that contributed to widespread nepotism, and that the operation of banks and access to credit depended more on political connections than on market forces. The term crony capitalism was developed to capture this inappropriate model of political economy. According to the liberal view, the crisis teaches that financial markets will punish non-liberal activities, suggesting developing countries adopt more transparent financial practices and follow a more liberal economic model. The second theoretical perspective, the economic nationalist perspective, stresses the significance of state power in creating and exploiting the crisis. In this view, the problem arose because developing countries liberalized their economies prematurely and allowed the large amounts of money to flow into and out of their countries too quickly. This undermined the East Asian model of political economy and caused a crisis. This approach would stress how the US used the Asian crisis as an opportunity to force some countries to restructure along lines that benefit US business. During this crisis, Asian states attempted to counter American initiatives at the IMF and to continue to resist the undermining of their particular form of capital. The lessons from the crisis are that states need to be careful about liberalizing their economic activity and must pay attention to guard their national interest. The third perspective, critical perspective, suggests that US private business interests and US government influenced the financial collapse by pressuring developing states to liberalize their economies, which benefited the US Treasury and Wall Street. Once the crisis took place, the same interests pressed the IMF to demand that Asian economies restructure in a way that would open markets for firms. It also stresses the high degree of suffering caused by the financial collapse and the fact that its costs were unevenly distributed. For example, the collapse of the Indonesian economy pushed millions further into poverty but left wealthy financial interests in developed countries relatively untouched. In this view, the international financial system facilitates the rapid movement of money between countries and contributes to the recurrence of financial crises in many parts of the world. This view suggests that to prevent future crises, action should be taken to curb financial speculation and rotate investors' funds' ability to move abroad. To conclude this discussion, I want to say that the Asian financial crisis was a complex event with multiple factors requiring a comprehensive understanding from various theoretical perspectives. This understanding can help prepare for future economic challenges and promote a more resilient global financial system. Thank you, everyone.